Imagine waking up one day and deciding, you know what would make America great again? Buying Greenland. Well, that's not a late-night comedy sketch. That's a real idea cooked up by the Trump administration, complete with cost reports, internal memos, and more than a little imperial nostalgia. Today, we're diving into the bizarre, very real story of the US trying to figure out how much it would cost to control Greenland. Yes, like a giant monopoly purchase, but colder. President Trump floated the idea of buying Greenland because, who hasn't tried to put a massive Arctic island on layaway? At the time, most people laughed it off as just another Trumpism. Greenland's prime minister called it absurd, Denmark was insulted, and even late-night hosts couldn't keep up with the jokes. But behind the scenes? Not so funny, because the administration actually started preparing internal reports to estimate how much it would cost to control Greenland. This wasn't a joke. It was policy planning. Why Greenland? Good question. Turns out it's not just ice and polar bears. Greenland has rare earth minerals, natural resources, and a juicy strategic location in the Arctic that makes military planners drool. It's also a potential gold mine in a world warming up to Arctic trade routes. So the Trump administration looked at it like a fixer-upper with military potential. The idea is, buy it, secure it, and control it, before China or Russia made their own moves. Here's where it gets wild. Estimates vary depending on how you value a semi-autonomous icy landmass. The Washington Post pegged it anywhere from $200 million to $1.7 trillion. The Financial Times went with $1.1 trillion, factoring in minerals and long-term potential. Other analysts came in anywhere from $50 billion to $533 billion, as if that's somehow a bargain. Keep in mind, that's just purchase price. That doesn't include annual operating costs, infrastructure, and convincing 56,000 Greenlanders to suddenly be American citizens. And why would anyone want to be a US citizen right now? That's like trying to buy a Tesla with gold rims and finding out you also need to build every road it'll drive on. Greenland is not flattered. Officials responded with a firm, "Greenland is not for sale." Danish leaders were equally blunt. One called it insulting. Another said, "You can't just buy people and land like it's the 1800s. But in typical Trump fashion, when Denmark said no, Trump canceled his planned state visit to Copenhagen. Because nothing says great negotiator like ghosting an ally for refusing to sell part of their kingdom. Still, it's a fascinating window into the mindset of Trumpism, bold, brash, and willing to treat the globe like a game board. Greenland wasn't just a punchline, it is a Trump obsession policy. So next time someone says, "That could never happen," remember, we have government employees preparing spreadsheets for buying Greenland right now. Hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. If the US could buy any country, hypothetically, what's the most Trump choice you can imagine? Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and maybe keep your passport handy, just in case we annex Iceland next.